for Hanover. A man in motion. Jeff Jacoby throws little bubble screen. He's got some blockers out there with the original trips, and he picks up the first down.
Squires were sitting in their 3-4 that they ran last week against York Catholic.
Is that number 80? I don't have one of them either. So it's been a while, but we have some mystery men tonight. A couple of guys out here in the trips right, switching spots. Jacoby, quick throw out to the right, and it's complete. That's Sam Duvall, driven out of bounds by Joe Hernandez after a short gain.
They give him 2 in that gain, and it looks like what we see from Hanover here. They're going to try to ride Jacoby's arm. He threw for 234 yards last week against Biggerville.
Squires coming out in a 3-man front. Jacoby out of the shotgun, throws, and it's complete. It's out of the hands of the original receiver and caught. Great concentration by number 80, brought down by Logan Brown inside the Squires 30-yard line. Big gain for the Nighthawks, and it looks like the receiver is injured on the play.
And we don't know who 80 is, right?
No, we don't. Ethan Coant, number 82, was the intended receiver. It went through his hands, and number 80, it popped right into his hands, and at that point, there was nobody left to cover him.
Yeah, it was almost caught, almost picked off, and then caught.
Yeah.
But he might be – he looked like a pretty tall kid. I'm trying to see if they have another – the only tall receiver they have is 85, but I'm not sure there's an 85 out there or not. The ref's calling Hanover back on the field. There was not a timeout granted there.
They do have 85 because we've called his name. That's Michael Minettos.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't have any idea who number 80 might be, but he just made a heck of a play. Jacoby in the shotgun again with trips to the left. This time it's a give to number 22. That's Fabian Lara, and he has stood up after a short gain.
Give him 3 on that. That's the first time they had a back in the backfield with the quarterback, Jacoby.
So second down, Hanover has something going here on its first possession. 2 receivers each way, and it looks like the Squires are going to end up with an offsides call.
Going to make it 2nd and 2.
And all of a sudden, after it looked like the Squires were going downhill fast, they missed the field goal, and Hanover coming back the other way quickly. Nighthawks coming out in the same formation as before the penalty. 2nd down and 2 in Squires territory. Jacoby back to pass. He has time. Throws complete inside the 10. That's Sam Duvall. Brought down by Evan Brady inside the 5, where it'll be 1st and goal for the Nighthawks.
Great throw by Jacoby that time. Yeah, great coverage by the Squires, but Jacoby put the ball right in there.
It was a nice catch, too. Strong hands, and then fighting for more yardage down close to the goal line. It's about the 3-yard line. So this time, a little misdirection in the backfield, and that's going to be in, and Hanover's going to have the early lead on the Fabian Lara 3-yard touchdown run.
Hanover drives right down the field there, 80 yards for the score. With 5:21 left here in the first quarter, they'll try for the extra point.
And their place kicker at 35. 35 is Brett Knoll out of Sam Duvall's hold. And it's up, and it is good. 5:21 to go in the first quarter. Hanover up 7-0 over Delone Catholic here in the the 86th meeting of the Hanover-Delone Catholic game.
We ought to have some people looking at the scoreboard here on game time.
Sure will. That's not one the experts saw coming, I'm sure. But credit to Hanover to make a big play when they needed to and get that drive rolling. Elsewhere, First quarter, Biglerville 7, Bermudian Springs 6. I wonder if that's pending an extra point. Littlestown 7, Fairfield nothing. New Oxford 7, Northeastern nothing, and everything else is scoreless. Brady Knoll to tee it up again for the Nighthawks. Brown and Clayball deep for the Squires. And if the Squires needed a wake-up call, they certainly got it.
Yeah, the Squires get shocked here by Hanover going right down the field.
Short end-over-end kick. It's going to be fielded at about the 24-yard line. That is Tyler Monto going back across the right side, and he is wrapped up there at about the 41-yard line. Looked like he might have had some room to run, but Brett Knoll over there with the tackle and a couple of other Nighthawks. So first down and 10 for the Squires, finding themselves trailing at home for the first time all year. And really, it might be the first time they've trailed in any game except last week, I think.
Yes, it was. Last week was the first time they trailed.
So Brady up under center. Sends Hernandez in motion. Gives to Hernandez, who cuts it back. He gets about 5. Brought down by Destin Moore. So right now, both teams picking up big chunks of yardage on almost every play.
I'm not a big lover of that 3-man line Delone's using. It doesn't allow anybody to put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, Jacoby's had all the time in the world to throw on that drive. Brown goes up to the wing. Now he's going in motion. The give is to Brown. He cuts it back. Good defense by the Nighthawks. That was...
Well, first of all, that play Brown didn't know where to go out from the start, and it just wasn't very crisp. And the Squires aren't playing crisp at all here tonight.
Brett Knoll did a good job to get upfield and make Brown cut it up way before he wanted to. And then there were a couple of white jerseys there to limit the damage. So it's third down and about 4 for the Squires.
Approaching midfield here, then he just over midfield for the first down.
Just over 4 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Back
Hanover
to their
up 7-0 on the Squires. Brady rolling to his right. Duval under pressure. Got a flag down. The completion to Monto into Hanover territory, and he is wrangled down at the 35. Will catch the flag.
Well, the flag's probably going to be maybe an illegal man downfield, or it was a late flag because we might have been in motion. Let's see what they call here.
It looked like the up back might have left too early.
Yeah, but he threw it way too late, the flag.
Yeah. If that's the penalty, it was definitely a late flag.
Illegal man downfield.
And this is something the Squires have had. I would say if there are any issues with, it's been penalties this year.
What happened was, I think they're calling the wing was too far the line of scrimmage, and the tight end both went out in the wing, and they said both of them were in the line. That's a 5-yard penalty, I think. The last couple games, penalties have been a bugaboo here for the Squires. They don't want to give the ball back to Hanover right now without doing something here.
Brady out of the shotgun now, I think for the first time tonight. Rolling to his left. Monto steps up in protection. The throw is nearly complete. Mason Clayball, but knocked out of his hands by number 85, Michael Manetos. And it's going to force the Squires to punt.
That was actually a nice defensive play because he had caught the ball and he reached in and pulled it out before he could make a football move, so it was an incomplete pass.
If it would have been in much longer, it would have been a fumble.
Squires got to boot it away, and the Hawks are giving them everything they want.
Gabe Lee, the punter. I believe that's Manetos deep. High, short kick. Hits at the 38, and it's going to be downed at the 40 by Josh Fulton.
So just a 19-yard punt there for the Squires. Hawks have it at the 41-yard line.
So Hanover with the 7-0 lead at 3:24 to go in the first quarter, and the ball starting their second possession. Certainly not the start the Squires would have wanted to get out to, and not like anything we've seen at home yet this year. trips to the left again for the Nighthawks. Jacoby in the shotgun.
Still the three-man line here for the Squires.
Jacoby gives to the back, and he's stuck by Fulton. That was number 3, Destin Moore. It's going to be a gain of maybe 2 on the play. Second down and 8 at the Nighthawks 44. Second and 7, rather.
Hawks right out of the huddle again. Playing a little tempo here.
And we're going to have a false start penalty. The hard count drew his own back into motion there. No, with exactly 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, and the Squires down 7-0 to Hanover. Nighthawks have the ball, second down and 12. Jacoby steps back to pass. He's got time, complete, but drilled immediately. Coant on the catch, and Colin Gebhardt on the stop.
Bring down a 3rd and 10 here, and the Squires really need to stop now.
If I'm not mistaken, Gebhardt also a former Nighthawk.
Yeah.
Big defensive opportunity for the Squires here. Jacoby back to pass, looking to throw. Steps up, complete. No, it's going to be broken up by Evan Brady. Fabian Lara looked like he had it, but it got away from him. So
actually, Jacoby made a great play that time. Monto put a lot of pressure on him from the right side, and he stepped up into the pocket and delivered that ball right on the money.
Brett Knoll to punt for the Nighthawks. Joe Hernandez and Logan Brown deep for the Squires. Low kick. Takes one hop to Joe Hernandez, who plants his foot in the ground and looking for the left side. Gets out there. He's across midfield, and he is driven out of bounds there, but the Squires with their best field position of the night.
No flags in the play, so we'll take over here right at the 48-yard line of the Hawks. The Squires need a wake-up call here.
Biglerville now up 13, or Bermudian Springs up 13-7. York High up 7-0 on Central York, and Eastern York 7-0 over Kennardale. Gettysburg 14-0 over Greencastle, and we got a whistle.
Timeout Hawks.
And it's going to be Hanover's second timeout of the half here with under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. New Oxford still 7-0 over Northeastern. And it looks like everybody else is Littlestown 12-0 over Fairfield, and everybody else is still scoreless or unreported.
So, Eric, the Squires need to wake up here. They're sleepwalking through this game, and they're going to have to.
Which you wouldn't expect to see out of a long-standing rivalry game like this.
Trying to shake off their performance from last week. You know, they're going to have to.
Yeah, and really that's about the first adversity the Squires have seen this season in any real dose. So it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from that here. The Squires ready to start this possession, trailing 7-0 to Hanover. Brady gives to Monto. He's right up the middle into the secondary, cuts it back, and bounces it outside. One man to beat. There's a flag on the play. Michael Manetos on the tackle, and there is a flag down.
Flag laying at about the 28-yard line, so let's see what happened here.
I guess either a hold or a block in the back, but it should be a first down.
Well, no, it's a spot foul, so it'll stay first down.
Right. But it's going to wipe out the last 15 or so yards of that gain plus. It is an illegal block in the back against the Squires.
And it'll be a spot foul, so it'll come back 10 yards inside the 40 here.
Monto had a 30 or 35-yard run there that was just cut in half.
Another penalty, third penalty in the Squires tonight. It's going to bring it back and make it. It's still going to be a first down. It was enough yardage.
Yeah, it'll be first down and 10 for the Squires at the 38-yard line. But another mistake for the Squires in the early going here. This time the give is to Hernandez. He's got about 3.
Went back to the I formation there and just powered it up the middle.
He's down to the 35-yard line where it'll be second down and 7.
Looking for Brown. Is he in the game or is he along the sideline here somewhere? Or was he the wing that time?
He must have been the wing because I don't see him over here. He's the tailback now. This time the give is to Brown. He's got nowhere to go. He's going to lose 3 back to the original line of scrimmage. Brett Knoll and Sam Duvall credited with the stop, bringing up third down and long for the Squires.
44 seconds left here in the first quarter.
Brady with a little wide receiver screen out to Mason Clayball. He's into the secondary, cuts it back across the grain. He's got a blocker, one man that could force him out, but he's not going to do it. Touchdown, Mason Clayball.
Touchdown, Clayball on a wide receiver
37
screen,
yards.
which looked like it was going absolutely nowhere, and Clayball made it into a. Clayball got it back and made it into a touchdown. So the Squires, before the end of the first quarter, have a chance to tie the game.
Well done there by Mason Clayball.
And maybe that'll give the Squires a little bit of a spark.
Tony Espinoza in to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Kevin Mowry. Good snap. Good hold. And this time the kick is up and it is good. 18 seconds to go in the first quarter. New ball game tied at 7. Hanover 7, Delone Catholic 7.
So let's see if the Delone defense can hold again. Jacoby playing really well tonight. Had that last ball dropped, or the Hawks would have had another drive going. Espinoza will do the kickoff here for the Squires. Let's see who's deep for the Hawks. They got 3 deep.
Looks like Manetos. Number 21 is Miguel Melendez. High kick, shorter than usual for Espinoza. Bounces, and Manetos has it, and he is stuffed.
They're going to mark it up here at the 20 where he actually first touched it before he was driven back.
But good coverage by the Squires. Didn't really give him anywhere to go after he was able to get control of the ball. So Hanover takes over 1st and 10 with the ball at the 20-yard line. Game tied at 7 with 12 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Let's see what the Squires are staying with that 3-man line.
2 receivers each way for Hanover with Lara as the lone setback. The give is to Lara, and he gets a couple across the left side, brought down by Colin Gebhardt.
Going to be the end of the first quarter here at JT Flaherty Field.
Certainly a lot more interesting a first quarter than people would have expected, I think. Elsewhere, we have York High 7-0 over Central York. That's a game with a potential share of the Division I championship at stake. Bermudian Springs 13, Biglerville 7, West York 8, Dover 6, Eastern York 14, Kennerdale nothing. Littlestown 12-0 over Fairfield. Gettysburg 14-0 over Greencastle Antrim, renewing some Blue Mountain League hostilities. New Oxford up 7-0 over Northeastern, and Southwestern Spring Grove, York Suburban Susquehannock, and York Tech York Catholic all scoreless. I don't know. We'll see if we can find a way to get a hold of an Upper Dauphin score.
For Dolphin playing Line Mountain tonight from District 4. Actually, Upper Dauphin is just shy of District 4.
That game is at Upper Dauphin. Oh, Hanover coming out with Jacoby in the shotgun, sends Ethan Coant in motion and gives to Fabian Lara, who tries to cut it back, but there's nowhere to go. Maybe a gain of 1 on the play.
Hanover right back up in the line of scrimmage. They're calling the plays from the sideline, not leaving Delone defense get set.
It's third down and about 5.5, 6 yards. Now Hanover looking to move the chains. Pressure, and it's complete. That's Manetos, and he is going to be stopped at the 30.
Going to be a first down, though.
31, first down.
Nighthawks right back up to the line of scrimmage again.
Hanover doing a good job of kind of running some of these receivers deep and clearing out some room underneath and throwing back to the underneath receivers and having some success with it right now. High snap, Jacoby pulls it down, throws, and it's high off the fingertips of Coant. And incomplete.
Lucky it was high because he was wide open and could have turned that up there for maybe 4 or 5 more yards. Squires seem to be a bit confused defensively on what they want to do here. They can't get to Jacoby with their blitzes.
It's trips to the right this time with second down and 10. Good snap. Jacoby all day, and now it's the pocket collapsing around him, and he's going to be sacked back at the 27-yard line. Bring up third down and 13.
Don't know who got him there for the Squires. It looked like all 3 of the down linemen were in there.
Yeah, Marquise Sweet was the last one with a hand in that.
Trying to hard count. It didn't work that time.
Jacoby looking to throw. He's got time and nearly intercepted.
Monto timed that when they knew what was coming there. He watched off the corner and tried to step in front, knocked it down, almost got it. It would have been 6.
Yeah, Clayball had good coverage behind Manetos, and then Monto jumped the route and just couldn't quite get there in time. So Brett Knoll will punt for the Nighthawks, and it is Brown and Hernandez deep for the Squires. 10:28 to go in the second quarter. Tie ball game, 7-7. High floating snap. Nearly gets a finger on it. Maybe Sweet did get a finger on it, and it's going to be a short punt down at the Hanover 45. So the Squires in business already here. First down and 10.
Yeah, Sweet sort of waved that as it went by. I thought maybe he could have got a hand on it there, but it's better not to rough the kicker.
Yeah.
Just Squires already have 4 big penalties here on him tonight.
And he's such a tall guy with long arms and legs. It doesn't take him as long to get in there, but
Squires need to put one in here to take control back of this game.
So Brady up under center. He is going to give to Monto. He is into the secondary and gets about 8 on the play. Destin Moore on the tackle. Second down and 2.
They haven't really stopped Monto in that belly all night long unless he was in the eye. If they stay in the wing T formation, they seem to be spreading the Hawks out a little bit.
This time it's Hernandez coming off the left end and around the right end and gets a first down and then some.
Number 5 for the Hawks shaking up a little bit out there, Brandon Parry. He got himself up and got back in the huddle.
And he's got his hands on his knees. Looks like something's bothering him. And there are a lot of guys near the box. The give is to Logan Brown. He is got some room to run. He's going to be close to another first down.
Great kick out block there by the fullback Monto. Instead of pulling their guards, they're letting the fullback lead that sweep. And he hit a nice kick out on the defensive end there. And Brown cut right underneath the block.
It will be a first down and 10 for the Squires at the 14-yard line. This time it's Monto again up the middle, and he is inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. Monto and Brown the backs. Little misdirection, and it's Brown. He'll pick up maybe a yard, maybe two.
Going to be close. It's going to be third down and maybe a yard. See what the Squires do. It's obviously 4-down territory. I'm not sure he would kick the field goal here. I might go for it. This close.
And the ball is on the 6-yard line, it looks like.
Yeah, they got to get right inside the 5.
Brady on the option, pitches it behind Hernandez, and he just covers it up, and it's going to be a loss back to the 14. So it'll be fourth down and about 10.
Fourth down and 10 on an option play that went awry. And not sure I agree with that call either, Code. Third down, I just pounded in there twice to get the first.
So now Brady coming out in the shotgun. He sends Brown in motion from right to left. And he's rolling out to his left, looking, throwing. And he's got Brown. Touchdown, Squires.
Brown broke that play wide open. It was a great move by Brown, and Brady had enough time to find him in the corner of the end zone there, in the middle of the end zone. He broke away from his defender. Brady a lot of credit there for hanging onto that ball as long as he did.
And, great job by the offensive line to give him the time he needed. Say he was patient, but he could afford to be.
Well, Hanover didn't bring as many people as you think. They actually played coverage, and Brown broke away from it. Espinoza will try to give the Squires a 7-point lead here.
And that's a high kick, and it's good. With 7:34 to go in the second quarter, it is Delone Catholic 14, Hanover 7. I'd like to remind everybody, if you weren't with us in the pregame, we've been fortunate enough to have an anonymous donor come through to cover the rights fees for next week's district semifinal game, wherever that's going to be. A win tonight for the Squires would increase the likelihood that game's right back here at JT Flaherty Field. But if we do go on the road to Upper Dauphin, we'll go with them and bring all the action to you from Upper Dauphin next week. So obviously you'll be waiting with us to find out where we're going. But very, very much appreciate our anonymous donor. And should the Squires win, we'll be looking for help to do the championship game in 2 weeks. If you would like information on how to do that, elawrence@DeloneCatholic.org. Looks like the rain's starting to fall now as Espinoza with a high end-over-end kick into the end zone, and another touchback for Espinoza, who has been a real weapon kicking off for the Squires this year. Squires up 14-7. As the Nighthawks take over, first down and 10 at the 20.
Also keeping an eye on that Suburban Susquehannock score. And either, like you said, they weren't reported yet, or there's no score in those games.
It almost has to be no report because York Tech showing nothing against York Catholic.
Hawks have the ball at their own 20-yard line.
And a fumble. It's down, and he gets back on it. Colin Gebhardt couldn't quite get there.
Well, he tried to pick it up instead of just falling on it, and the ball stayed loose.
Destin Moore was the ball carrier, and I'm not sure it ever got to him, but he gets back on it, and he'll lose, looks like about 4 yards, bringing up second down and 14. Colin Gebhardt, I think, was looking for his second.
The Hawks bringing their trips in here a little bit now.
Yeah, this is the tightest formation we've seen all night from Hanover. Jacoby fakes a handoff, has time to throw, throws, and incomplete. It was intended for Manetos and broken up by Noblock.
Well, the reason they brought everybody in is they want more protection. They're trying to protect him from the outside blitz. Delone's bringing their outside linebacker from the wide side in on a blitz here. It's usually Monto. So Hanover has a big third down play coming up here, 3rd and 14.
Jacoby pump fakes, and he steps up in the pocket and slides down. He gains a couple, but it'll be 4th down and long and force the Hawks to punt here.
Not sure I ever saw a high school quarterback slide like that. But he slid down and didn't even picked up maybe 2. 4th down, 12. Hawks are going to have to punt it out of there again.
Brett Knoll to kick for the Hawks, and Hernandez and Brown deep for the Squires near midfield.
Last 2 snaps weren't the best here in the Hanover punts.
That one's better. Gets that one away. Low line drive kick fielded by Hernandez at the 46. He's got the outside, and he's going to be wrestled out of bounds there by Fabian Lara after the initial hit by Roger Romani Walker. So the Squires 1st down and 10 with great field position.
That's about, what are they going to call that, the 31?
Looks like.
See where they put this.
So it looks like maybe the wake-up call did get the Squires' attention, because at this point, potentially looking at an opportunity to go up by 2 scores.
Which they need to do. I mean,
Brady under center, and he gives to Monto, who is close to the 25.
Gets 5 more. And that wasn't the trap. That was more of an off tackle or a lead play out of the wing tee, and he picked up 5 yards there.
So that'll be 2nd down and 5. Brown in motion. The give to Brown, and he slips as he tries to cut it back inside. Sam Duvall was waiting for him there, and he just lost his footing as, again, we say that the rain is coming down.
We're going to call it 3rd down and about 7. Again, the Squires here in 4-down territory. See what they do here.
Brady will be out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 7 or 8. And he rolls out to his right. He's got backside pressure from Duvall and breaks away from him, but 2 other Nighthawks there for maybe a short loss. It's Wareheim and Destin Moore on the tackle for a loss of about 1. So it'll be 4th down for the Squires, and as Tony said, it looks like 4-down territory here.
Brady again in the shotgun.
This time he rolls out to his left. Monto picks up the block. Brady has time. He throws. He's got Hernandez behind everybody. Touchdown!
Touchdown Squires. Hernandez in the corner of the end zone.
Yards.
Brady lofted that up there, and the Hawks almost came back and knocked that down. But Hernandez got the shot. Make that a 30-yard touchdown pass into the corner of the end zone. Squires will try to make it 21-7.
Espinoza in to attempt the extra point again. Mowry snap into his body a little bit, but good job to get it down, and the kick is up and good with 4:21 to go in the first half. The score, Delone Catholic 21, Hanover 7.
That ball's rolling down 6th Street. Espinoza boomed that one, and so the Squires are taking control of the game here, 21-7. Hawks, though, that offense can roll with Jacoby at quarterback.
So Espinoza will tee it up from the left hash.
Espinoza boomed the last kickoff this way, so there must be a little bit of, although the American flag don't seem to be blown, it must be a wing going that way because he boomed one 5 yards deep in the end zone the last time.
It's either not blowing or the flag's wet and wrapped around the flagpole. Another high kick, and they're just going to watch it go over. That's like the center fielder who knows that home run is into the seats. And so Hanover will start first down and 10 at its own 20 again, now trailing 21-7 after Hanover got the first touchdown of the year by an opponent here at JT Flaherty Field, and the Squires were trailing in a game here at JT Flaherty Field for the first time all season, but kind of snapped them out of the funk a little bit, and Evan Brady with 3 touchdown passes already here in the first half.
Jacoby trying to get people where they're supposed to be out there for the Hawks. He has a strong right arm. We've been playing well tonight.
And this time it's going to be Destin Moore, and he has stood up. Oh, and the ball's out, no block with it, and crosses the line.
This ain't Littlestown last year. The ball was stopped.
A lot of activity that means absolutely nothing out there right
now.
Give
him 4 yards, though. The Hawks trying to get wide in that sweep. And I think they're just running, so the pressure on Jacoby wanes a little so he can get his passes off. How many times you use Wayne on a
Not very. Jacoby back to throw. He's got time. And he is looking for Ethan Coant, who was covered by A.J. Noblock, and it's incomplete.
Call it third, and let's call it 7. And since the first drive that the Hawks had, they're getting a lot better pressure on Noblock this time. Coach Dave Staub, the defensive coordinator, is bringing at least a linebacker a time. Now, this time it doesn't. None of the linebackers are up there. Maybe he's going with his 3-man rush and trying to play coverage here.
Third down and 6 for the Nighthawks in their own territory. And the give this time is to Destin Moore, who is brought down by number 83. That is Gabe Hernandez.
Gabe was waiting for that. He was one of the down linemen on defensive end. And the Hawks tried to catch the Squires there thinking pass. Hawks get the ball coming out. The Squires still going to have 3 minutes here after this punt.
3.5 to go.
Try to get something going.
Brett Knoll in to kick it for the Nighthawks, and we've got Brown and Hernandez deep again for the Squires. And Colin Gebhardt in, making that interesting. Fielded by Hernandez at about the 45, and trying to get away from the first pursuer, but can't do it. Ball going to be spotted at the 40, first down and 10.
And this has become a field position game, Eric. It seems like Delone's getting great field position because of their defense now after the kickoffs from Espinoza, putting them deep.
Yeah, and after that first possession where Hanover drove the length of the field and had the really nice tip ball play that got them deep into Squires territory, the Squires defense clamping down. Give this time is to Monto. He's still on his feet and breaks free, and he is across the 35 to about the 33. Squires up 21-7 with under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Evan Brady with 3 touchdown passes tonight, his 3rd career 3-touchdown passing game. And he's under center this time. He is going to give it to, is that Noblock?
Noblock, yeah.
He's got
Noblock.
First down, and he's close to the 25, about the 26-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Squires. Squires getting in and out of the huddle. Have plenty of time and all 3 timeouts left. Brady gives to Joe Hernandez, who runs over the first tackler and drags him for a couple of more yards. He is inside the 20.
Yeah, give him 7 on that, and a nice run in that sweep. You're supposed to cut that sweep back up there, but nothing there. So Hernandez took it to the corner and got 7 yards. 8 yards, actually. Yeah, like you said, plenty of time with 3 timeouts here. Clock running 1:45 here left in the second quarter.
Ball inside the 20. Marcello Malvone way outside, split to the left. And it's going to be a pitch to Logan Brown looking for the left corner. He's got a first down, cuts it back inside the 5 and brought down at about the 2-yard line, it looked like.
And that's Brown's first big run of the night. Yeah. Well, actually second. He had one early, but he's been slipping and sliding almost all the night here. But he get outside on that quick pitch and nobody out there. Nice block down there by.
It's like we got an injured Nighthawk on the play, and I don't think anybody realizes it yet. So we're going to have a timeout on the field with 1:32 to go in the first half. And we'll try to refresh some out-of-town scores here while we wait for the training staff to attend to the injured Nighthawk. York High 20, Central York 7 in a big matchup that has first place implications in Division 1. Red Lion and Dallastown scoreless in the second quarter. Bermudian Springs up 19-7 over Biglerville after being in an early hole. West York is up 16-14 over Dover. Eastern York 21, Kennardale 7. Littlestown 26, Fairfield nothing. Gettysburg all over Greencastle Antrim 34-0. New Oxford still up 7-0 over Northeastern in the first. And the last 3 games still showing scoreless. So I'm guessing they're not updating at this point.
Yeah, actually the rain, is it raining out there? Or is not really that bad if it is.
It's drizzling a little bit maybe.
We don't know how the rain is at the other areas here where we're trying to find here.
And on this other website we have, it looks like it's mostly District 4. Still not seeing any score for Line Mountain and Upper Dauphin. So trying to keep an eye on that one if we can. Still working, and that's Fabian Lyra, the injured Nighthawk, I believe. And
I think he got called under the wash there as both the Hanover guys tried to get Brown out of bounds, and let's hope it's just knocked out of wind or something like that.
And it's sitting up now. And he is up, and he's going to be helped off the field.
Ball looks like it's inside that, right down at the 2-yard line. It's inside where they kicked the extra point from.
So the Squires getting lined up here, ready to try to drive this one in. First down and goal from the 2. Brady under center. It looks like the back's in the eye. The give is to Brown, and he is in. Touchdown, Logan Brown. That's his second touchdown of the night. 1 rushing, 1 receiving. And Espinoza out there to attempt the extra point.
.123 left here in this before half, so Hanover's going to have a chance with 1 timeout to try to do something. They get the ball coming out.
And Espinoza's got it up and through. And that one's off the top of the fence and out onto 6th Street again. So 1:23 to go in the first half. Delone Catholic 28, Hanover 7.
Nice recovery by the Squires there, and a lot of it's due to Espinoza's kicking off and pinning the Hawks back there at the 20-yard line. If they don't make a first down, they're kicking into what little bit of wind that's out there. Now that flag's starting to move. So it is a little bit, he has the wind here.
Espinoza teeing it up from the left hash again. And it's going to be Menedos and Miguel Melendez deep, and it's going to be another touchback. That's three in a row.
3 in a row, and I'm not sure I've ever seen that in high school football, even with the great kickers West York had back in the day. He boomed, and that didn't hit until the end line. So the wind's starting to pick up here a little bit. 28-7 Delone right before half.
And the Squires still have all 3 timeouts, so should they decide and can stop Hanover here, they may have a chance to get it back again.
See what Hanover does. See if they go to there, just try to run this out and get into the locker room.
Jeff Jacoby in the shotgun, as he has been for most of the night, trips to the right for the Nighthawks. He's got time, throws it, and it is complete to Menedos, and he's down the sideline. First tackler misses. Monto brings him down at about the 45-yard line, and a first down for Hanover.
That only took 8 seconds. The ball was out of bounds, so they saved their timeout.
Menedos has done some nice things for the Nighthawks tonight. Jacoby looking sweet in there, collapsing the pocket, and Jacoby takes off and gets maybe a yard. Clock running with under a minute to go.
The Hawks don't take long getting to the line of scrimmage, Joe, so they can come right back up. It's going to be under 50 when they snap it here.
Trips out to the right. High snap. Jacoby throws. Menedos, and it's wide of him. Incomplete pass, third down rather.
Now if they don't get it, maybe Delone calls a timeout if they decide to run it. Make them punt into the wind. I don't want to give Jacoby any more downs than what I have to. He has a nice, strong arm here. I look for him to run this time.
Got 2 receivers each way.
Ooh, they were a little.
He is going to pull it down and throw. He's got a man, and it's going to be a touchdown. The missed tackle, and it's Sam Duvall on a 54-yard touchdown.
Wow, nice play by Hanover. They've got a flag back here. It's going to be roughing the passer, I think. I think it's going to be Delone. I think that's going to stand the touchdown.
A lot of discussion out there for the 5 officials, but everybody's down at the end of the field, so it is going to be a touchdown. And wait, it's
personal foul against Delone. It'll probably be marked in the kickoff.
They waved it on Hanover.
He pointed to Hanover. Why was that?
No, he said it was personal foul on Hanover, but
personal foul against Delone.
Okay. He pointed the wrong way, so Duvall with the 54-yard pass from Jacoby, and Brett Knoll in to kick the extra point. High snap, nice hold. The kick is up, and it is good. 29 seconds to go in the first half. It's now Delone Catholic 28, Hanover 14. And just as it looked like the Squires were starting to maybe get this thing in hand, Hanover busts a nice long play there. Duvall makes a nice catch. It looked like Clayball was working him into the sidelines, but then he just cut it back under, and Clayball couldn't keep his feet, and Duvall was gone.
As a coach, I sort of want to know what the call was. They're going to mark it off on a kickoff, I guess, here, 15 yards against Delone. No, he's walking the wrong way. He's walking against Hanover. Now he's coming back to walk against Delone.
So I guess there's a fairly good shot we're going to see a touchback this way now.
Or an onside kick.
Well, that's the other thing. Hanover has a timeout, 29 seconds left.
They have nothing to lose trying an onside kick.
Sure. And it is Brady Knoll again, as he's been the kickoff specialist here for the Hawks.
I'd still like to know what the penalty was.
That's going to be a line drive kick. Fielded on a bounce. Mason Clayball in behind the line of blockers, but brought down by Destin Moore at the 25-yard line. So the Squires have it 1st and 10 with 22 seconds to go and all 3 timeouts. So maybe a chance to do something, but I don't know.
We know it was a personal foul, but we don't know if it was roughing the passer or what they actually called. Squires look like they're just going to go in here, although he is in shotgun formation.
Yeah, Evan Brady in the shotgun. Rolling out to his right, he's got Monto to pick up the blocker. He steps up, throws over the middle. Logan Brown, it's complete, and it's out to the 45 with 14 seconds to go, and it'll be a timeout for the Squires, I would assume.
Yeah, they called it.
It'll be the Squires' first timeout. 14 seconds to go at their own 45-yard line. And Logan Brown just got out there and found a hole in the coverage and sat down and then picked up another 7 or 8 yards after the catch.
(28-14) here. There's 22 seconds left, 14 seconds left, and
now we finally have a score report. In the second quarter, Line Mountain 7, Upper Dauphin 6. So that would go a long way.
Yeah. So Delone has their own problems here this evening.
Yeah.
Can't shake the Hawks here. 80-yard drive in about 50 seconds.
Now, 54-yard touchdown pass will do that.
Yeah.
Hernandez is in motion from left to right, cuts it up. Brady rolling to his right. He's got all day. Now he rolls it back to his left, pulls it down, throws. He's got Gabe Lee, and it's dropped at the 30-yard line with 3 seconds to go.
Gabe Lee jumped, and he didn't have to jump, and lost control of that ball in midair.
Obviously, Hanover dropping in coverage, and there was only really one defensive lineman coming after him there. All day to throw for Brady. Two receivers each way. Brady looking to throw. He's got all kinds of time. Throws over the middle. Intercepted. It's Destin Moore, and he is brought down by Nick Groff to end the half. And a lot of things going Hanover's way there in the last minute or two of that half, but the Squires will go into halftime with a 28-14 lead in the 86th meeting of the Hanover-Delone rivalry. I'll tell you, Tony, it's I don't know if it's the Squires trying to shake off the rust after, maybe the disappointment of losing the undefeated season, or, Hanover's playing well in a lot of ways, but this hasn't been a
no, and Hanover did play well. They got a break on the first drive with the bouncing ball, and you can say it was a break here when Duval made that catch, but he went up and made the nice catch. Yeah. I mean, he was covered well, and he just pulled the ball away from Clayball and ran for a touchdown.
And Squires uncharacteristically missing some tackles here tonight, not just on that play, but some others that have opened up some good opportunities for the Nighthawks offense. Squires offense doing some good things. And so we're going to be here halftime, 28-14, and try to get some out-of-town scores again as the Hanover marching band comes onto the field for its halftime show. Elsewhere, these are all second quarter scores. York High is 27-7 over Central. Red Lion 14-0 over its arch rival Dallastown. So if those scores hold, York High and Red Lion would share the Division I championship. Gettysburg already sewed up the Division II championship. They are playing out of division tonight because of the odd number of teams in that division. Bermudian Springs 26, Biglerville 7. West York is up 16-14 over Dover. Eastern York 28, Kennerdale 13. Littlestown blanking Fairfield 26-0. Gettysburg all over Greencastle Antrim 34-0 in the old Blue Mountain League game tonight. That game, as I said, with the odd number of teams in YAIAA Division II. Gettysburg with the open week, so they've got Greencastle Antrim tonight to close out a Division II championship season before they start the playoffs. Northeastern 21, New Oxford 14. That's a change. New Oxford had been up in that game for a while, and it looks like no score reports from the other games on the scoreboard, which are Southwestern and Spring Grove, York Suburban and Susquehannock, and York Tech and York Catholic. The other game of utmost interest for the Squires is Line Mountain 7, Upper Dauphin 6. That's in the second quarter. Looking right now as it does, York Catholic pretty much with the top seed in the PIAA District 3 Class 2A playoffs sewed up. Right now, the Squires sitting with a slim lead in the power rankings over Upper Dauphin, but looking like that will be the matchup next week. Just trying to determine location at this point. And would like to remind everybody that we will be broadcasting that game wherever it is played, thanks to a generous anonymous donor who covered the rights fee for the semifinal game. And putting the cart before the horse, if the Squires would win that game next week and end up in the district championship game, we'd also love to be able to bring that to you. There is a $375 fee for the rights to broadcast that we need to pay to District 3. So if anyone is interested in helping us with that, should it be needed, you can contact me, Eric Lawrence, at Delone Catholic. It's elawrence@delonecatholic.org, or by phone at 717-637-5969, extension 201. If you are able to help with any or all of those rights fees for the championship game. Obviously, the Squires have work to do to make that a reality, but we're trying to plan ahead so that we can be there with them like we were in 2012 when the Squires last won a district championship, beating Steel High at Hershey Park Stadium. I believe that was a 28-7 game, first time the Squires had ever beaten Steel High, and they didn't play them again until the third game of this season, and beat them rather handily. And right now, Steel High playing Milton Hershey tonight in a game that would potentially have PowerPoint ramifications for the Squires. If Steel High could somehow win that, that would also help the Squires immensely in seeding. Rain coming down heavier here on the Hanover band at halftime. As it stands right now, York Catholic at 9-0 is the number one seed, and there's a detailed explanation of the math behind the power rating system on the District 3 website, but it's one of those that opponents' games and games of opponents' opponents also play into it, so it's a lot of math involved that I'm not all that familiar with, but it goes out to six places behind the decimal point, and right now York Catholic's first three are 718. The Squires are at 753, so even if York Tech would somehow beat York Catholic, there's little to no chance that the Squires would jump York Catholic. Right now, more realistically, Delone Catholic at 653 and Upper Dauphin at 644. That's why wins or losses being very important, but what opponents do tonight also important to help the strength of schedule. And the other thing that became a lot more interesting in the last couple of weeks here is Steel High has lost 2 in a row, and they are now 4-5. And Columbia, after starting 0-6, has won 3 in a row. So the numbers are 436 and 393 for Steel High and Columbia. So a Steel High loss and a Columbia win would make things awful interesting. And Tony, just trying to talk about the matchup for next week where things are, and obviously we'll recap the first half of this game, but talking a little bit about where we are at this point, and coming up next week, and our anonymous donor who has made next week's broadcast possible, regardless of where we are. So
yeah, well, we really need one of them teams that we played out of league to win to play here. I would think you'd have to have somebody. Plus, Delone's going to have to take care of their own business here tonight. It's a long way off here. 28-14, and Hanover gets the ball coming out. The weather is deteriorating here as we go. It's starting to rain a little harder. I think if I was Delone, I'd just keep kicking. I'd take the win here in the third quarter and try to, pin the Hawks again. The Hawks, Jacoby really throwing the ball well, has 2 touchdown passes here tonight. And Delone only leads 28-14. There's 7 minutes and 30 seconds left here before the half ends. And trying to get some scores here, but we haven't got a score from Suburban and Susquehannock. And other scores, Northeastern's finally going back ahead of New Oxford, 21-14. Gettysburg all over Greencastle Antrim. Littlestown all over Fairfield. Eastern York beating Cannondale by 15. West York, in a little bit of an upset, has Dover beat 16-14 right now. And that had its implications in the 4A playoffs, because both of them teams are on the cusp of making the 4A playoffs, where they take 10 teams. As Eric said earlier, the district here, District 3, is very top-heavy with bigger schools. So 4A, 5A, and 6A take a lot more teams than 3A. 3A takes 6 teams. Littlestown and Bermudian with wins tonight, both should go there. Redline has a 14-0 lead in Dallastown, and York High all over Central in the second quarter, 27-7. So York High wins. They could tie with Redline for first place in the York Adams League Division 1. Still nothing in the Southwest Spring Grove game, York Suburban Susquehannock and York Tech, York Catholic. We have nothing on them. And we're waiting here for both teams to take the field again. Like I said, the weather's starting to deteriorate here a little bit, get a little bit colder, a little bit rainier, although we really haven't had the big downpour yet. Actually, nice crowd here tonight. Not as good, not the typical Hanover Delone crowd, but with the weather, it's not a bad crowd. Delone side, a little bit more people here than the Hanover side. Again, the score here is 28 Delone, 14 Hanover. Delone had a 28-7 lead, kicking the ball off with 1:48. Hanover drove down the field in 40 seconds to put with a 51-yard pass. Jacoby got away from some pressure and threw it down the sideline. Duval took the ball away from Mason Clayball and went in untouched into the end zone. So Delone will have to kick off here to Hanover here to start the second half. And I'm sure Coach Zortman has that on his mind. The only other score we got in that Upper Dolphin game was still 7-6 Line Mountain. Line Mountain could beat Upper Dolphin, would really help Delone to play next week's game down here. Line Mountain, AA team out of District 4, which is almost Upper Dolphins, quite frankly, only like 10 miles from being in District 4 themselves. And so that's a Tri-Valley League game. So we'll have to wait and see what happens up there. We'll try to have that score for you till the end of the game. Like I said here, we have nothing on the Southwestern Spring Grove game or the York Suburban Susquehannock game or the York Tech York Catholic game. We have nothing on those games right now. So we're waiting for both teams to take. Still Hanover Band doing a fine performance out there in the weather, trying to get their halftime show in before the heavy rain hits here at J.T. Flaherty Field here in the campus of Delone Catholic High School. So there's about 4 minutes left. I guess they might put 3 back up on the board. I don't know if they want to try to get this game before the heavy weather comes, Eric, or not, because it's not really terrible out there now, but it looks like it's starting to pick up a little bit now.
Yeah, and it's a shame because, this crowd could have been huge, and the weather is just not that good, and it's, I think, kept a lot of people away. So that said, it's been, I think, a lot more interesting game than maybe we or the experts for sure would have expected.
Well, with Jacoby back, he came back 2 games ago from an injury. You knew they're going to have the throwing game. They haven't gotten anything in the ground yet. They tried to get Delone down here on a 3rd and long with a draw play, and it didn't go. Hernandez came in and Gabe Hernandez made the nice tackle on that play. The thing about it is, Jacoby can throw that ball a country mile, and he's going to be trouble if you don't get to him because he can hit his receivers.
Well, yeah, and he's speaking of his receivers, he's got a couple of good ones that have made some things happen. I mean, Duvall had the 54-yard catch. Michael Manetos has done some really nice things for the Nighthawks tonight, and the Nighthawks gave and gave and gave on that first drive, and the Squires went 80 yards but missed the field goal, had it down to the 3-yard line, and then Hanover turns it around, and they had the tip drill pass that went probably 50 or 60 yards. I got to think that Jacoby's probably got close to 200 yards passing in this game.
Well, yeah, because he has 2 50-yarders we know about.
Right.
And he's hit Minuto, I hope I'm saying that
Manetos.
name. Maneto. On 2 outs that went for 15 yards each,
right.
So he has some yardage here, and Delone has been putting pressure on him with the outside blitz because they're staying with that 3-man line. Now they're controlling the running game okay with that, so I guess they'll stay with that.
But Hanover went down and scored first in this game. It was the first touchdown the Squires have allowed on the home field all year, and the first time they've trailed here this year, and then came back with 4 touchdowns in a row, made it 28-7.
Yeah, it was 7-7 after one.
Yeah, so it was, the Squires had the 4 touchdowns in a row, and it looked like, they might have been on the way to rolling this thing, and then all of a sudden, the big touchdown pass from Jeff Jacoby to Sam Duvall with 29 seconds to go in the second quarter, and now it's a 2-touchdown game with Hanover getting the ball coming out of the locker room.
Yeah, what I was talking about a little earlier here, which way does Delone kick now? I think I'd kick the same way and take the wind here in the third quarter and kick the Hawks deep and try to keep them down there and try to rely on that thing to get up 3 scores again.
Yeah.
The game's 28-14. I'm not sure there's enough points on the board there yet.
No, and you could be right. I mean, and
the rain's falling pretty good now. We can see it, in the lights now. It's not a torrential downpour yet, but it's, the heavy rain's supposed to hit the area later on tonight. So
that said, I wouldn't want to be outside right now.
No.
It's cold. It's rain. I mean, I just think about, especially, tomorrow, any games that are being played tomorrow and a lot of the college games that are being played. I mean, you're talking highs in the upper 40s and pouring down rain all day. It's just bad weather.
This field, we said a number of times, is in great shape, but it's going to deteriorate with the rain and the kids kicking it up like they are.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Brown lose his footing twice tonight. I really think that's what happened to the one Hanover receiver here at the 40-yard line on the 3rd down play when the kid, I thought he lost his footing a little bit, and the ball hit him right between the numbers, and he couldn't get himself righted to catch the ball.
And that's entirely possible because the footing can't be good, as the rain continues to fall. But should mention that Evan Brady finished, after last week, trying to do too much and the Squires getting down and trying desperately to come back. 4 interceptions last week. He's come back with 3 touchdowns this week, and it's the 3rd time in his career that he has thrown 3 touchdown passes in the same game, and no Squire has thrown for more than 3 since Brett Smith set the school record with 5 in 2011, I think, at Littlestown, 4 of which were caught by Cooper Ayers.
Yeah, he had 4 picks last week. He had a rough night down there at York Catholic, but the thing about it is, the pick here was right before half, and it was either throw it up there and see what happens.
Right. Yeah, that was one of those garbage picks that, you hope you don't get it for statistical purposes.
It was a nice play by Nick Groff to make the tackle, though, so the kid didn't get away for Hanover.
Yeah, once the tackle was made, that interception becomes largely irrelevant. At halftime, in a game that's obviously one we're watching closely, Upper Dauphin now up 14-7 over Line Mountain. So we'll keep an eye on that one and try to get this refreshed and catch some of the other local YAIAA scores of interest. York High is up 27-7 against Central York, and Red Lion up 14-0 over Dallastown. As I said a little while ago, if that holds the way it is now, York High and Red Lion would share the Division I championship. Those are both at halftime. These next two are also at halftime. Bermudian Springs 26, Biglerville 7, and Littlestown 26, Fairfield nothing. In the second quarter, West York 16, Dover 14, and Eastern York 35, Kennerdale 13. Gettysburg now up 37-0 over Greencastle in the second. Northeastern 21-14 over New Oxford in the second. Southwestern up 7-0 over Spring Grove in the second. And York Suburban and Susquehannock still, I think, not being updated. And York Catholic has been updated now. They're up 48-0 at halftime over York Tech. So I like the chances of the Irish hosting a game next week.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, the Irish will host. Yeah. I think they had that going in,
Yeah.
but
the question becomes, will Steel High lose and Columbia win, making it come down to power points?
Which would Delone actually needs Steel High to win. We need one of the teams that we played, even though Line Mountain's only a AA team playing a AA school tonight. So Hanover's actually a AAA school, so you get more points for beating them. It looks like Delone is going to kick off with the win.
Yeah, we got the last couple of seconds of halftime going to tick off here as the Squires get out and get ready to tee it up for the second half. It was 7-7 at the end of one, and then it was 21 points to 7 for the Squires in the second quarter, giving us a halftime score of 28-14. And the Squires won the toss and elected to receive, so they'll kick off here. Tony Espinoza looking for his fourth straight touchback of the night. As the rain falls more steadily now. And it will be Mineros, and number 21 is Miguel Melendez are deep for the Nighthawks to get things started here in the second half. 86th meeting of the Hanover-Delone game. Squires coming in with a 2-game winning streak in the series. It's it was a shorter kick, and they left it go, and it goes dead at the 1. Mineros races back, and everybody down there, Dylan Cadis on the stop, and he is going to be maybe at the 4-yard line.
Yeah, they're going to mark it out at the 4. I don't know why they're bringing it out to the 4, because he actually picked it up and tried to run it back there. But that's what they're going to call it. They're going to have him down at the 4-yard line. Still, that's
just a bad decision by the Hanover return man.
Well, they thought it was rolling in, and it just.
Yeah. Well, with the wet grass, it just died. And
yeah, it was like a wedge from golf. It just stayed there. Let's see what the Hawks try here. They'll probably stay in their shotgun, because that's all they do.
First down and 10 from their own 4. Nighthawks down 28-14 to start the second half. And it is going to be a run, and he's not going anywhere.
Might have got a yard if they.
And it looks like back to the line of scrimmage for the Nighthawks. Maybe a half-yard gain. So, yeah, it's as you say. I don't know that Jacoby's been under center all night, and why start now? He sends a man in motion. It's Sam Duvall. High snap, corralled, and he's just going to pull it down and try to get back to the line of scrimmage, and it looks like maybe he's out to the 5.
Yeah, he's right to the line. 3rd and 9.
That was a heck of an effort by Jacoby just to keep that ball from going over his head and into the end zone.
Big play here for the Squires. They got to keep the Hawks right there.
And
I think the Hawks are going to call a timeout because they didn't have enough guys in the field.
Timeout Hanover. And so it's just a minute into the second half, and Nighthawks facing kind of a tough situation here. As the conditions are deteriorating with the rain, they get the ball, the opening kickoff, just a great kick by Tony Espinoza that died at the 1-yard line, and Hanover's return men thought it was going to go in for the touchback and then had to get back and couldn't get it outside the 5.
And Hanover's been having a little bit of trouble with their punt snaps tonight, and if they got to do it from back here. Big play, though, for the Hawks. If they can get out of this hole, give them some momentum here early in the second half. And if Delone can stop them, gives them the momentum. So people in the stands should be shaking their keys. This is a key play.
Everybody's hands are too cold to get their keys out of their pockets.
Watch for this little out that they've been throwing all night here to this side.
Jacoby looking this way, throws it up. He's got a man deep, and he overthrows him. It was Sam Duvall.
Well, instead, he ran a wheel route there. Instead of the out, he broke the out off and came up, and just too far to the sideline. Not a terrible throw, though, because only Duvall was going to catch that ball.
Yeah, Brady had him kind of step for step coverage, but he was behind him, so a little bit shorter, and he might have landed that right in there. Brett Knoll to punt. Squires return men inside inside the Hanover 40. It's Brown and Hernandez. There's a better.
He's down. He's on the ground. That's a safety.
That's a safety because the punter slipped, and that's where we talked about the deteriorating field conditions. 10:46 to go in the third quarter. It's now Delone Catholic 30, Hanover 14.
And Hanover will have to kick off or punt from their own 20.
And that's just not, it's not anything you want to see, but weather conditions are going to start to influence this game, I'm afraid.
And, you got to give it to Espinoza again. 3 of these kicks went out of the end zone. That one laid at the 2-yard line, and they had to pick it up. Is the cause of all this.
Yeah.
Now Delone should get pretty good field position here as the Hawks have to either punt or kick from the 20. Up to the 30 there, guys.
We've talked about this so many times this year. Espinoza has been a kickoff weapon like the Squires have rarely had. Just consistently putting the ball in the end zone or inside the 10-yard line and making the opponent. And that said, as good as his kicking has been, the coverage has been good to keep him buried.
Yeah.
Now it's Brady Knoll teeing it up from the 20. Brown and Clayball are deep at their own 33 or 34-yard line. End-over-end kick, fielded at about the 42. It's Tyler. Is that ball on the ground?
I think it was Clayball.
Okay. Clayball with the return into Nighthawks territory at about the 37-yard line.
Getting cold out there now, too.
Yeah.
With the rain.
And the wind seems like it's picking up and blowing into the press box right now. Brady hands off to Brown and caught a little bit of contact there. Braden Perry on the stop.
Give him 5 or 6, and he was gone.
Could have been a lot more. Second down and 5 for the Squires. Early part of the third quarter, Squires up 30-14 now after the safety. Joe Hernandez has it, tries to stiff arm the defender and gets a couple out around the left end.
Down to about the 30 is going to be, I don't know, they made a 2, maybe a long 2. Squires really coming out of the huddle quick now. They found a groove here. They're going to stay with that. Actually, they went back to their T formation.
And Nighthawks coming up into the box. The give is to Monto. Straight up the middle. He's got a first down, and he's inside the 25 to about the 23.
Sure, Coach Zortman would like the drive here to take a little bit of time off the clock and get up by 23 points, which would be huge here. Try to put the Hawks away, but I don't think there's any quitting the Hawks tonight.
No, they definitely are a team that came to play tonight, and
Squires go really heavy here to the right side.
And the give is to Joe Hernandez. He's off the right tackle into the secondary and gone. Touchdown, Joe Hernandez, 24 yards.
Squires loaded up the right side that time and came with the sweep. And because they were heavy, Hernandez cut it right under the block and walked into the end zone from 23 yards out. So we'll call this 36-14. See what coach is just going to kick this extra point here.
Espinoza out there. Mowry to hold again. And it is up and good. And
hit a
drilled that car on 6th Street.
Hit a car out on 6th Street.
Hope they have insurance. So it's Delone Catholic 37-14 over Hanover with 9:10 to go in the third quarter.
Espinoza once again will kick off from the left hash here. He's been putting the ball inside the 5 all night, 3 in the end zone. The last one hit inside the 5 and then just came to a halt. Three-headed attack here again tonight. Hernandez, Monto, and Brown's been that way all year, but I think it's a little more evenly distributed tonight.
It seems to be. Nobody's really kind of had a breakout night, but all carrying the load. High end over end. This one's shorter, and Manetos is going to get back and field it at about the 4. Coming out and cuts it outside. No block, stands him up, and Mowry finishes him off at about the 17-yard line.
Great coverage because the kick's so high and so deep. There's plenty of time to get down there. And this keeps them inside the 20 here. I think they're going to mark it up around the 18-yard line. See if the Squires can stop this attack now. I think the field position actually stopped the Hawks more than anything the last time.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot they could do down there, especially.
Well, they didn't want to drop back to pass and get a sack for a safety, and then what happened, they gave it up on the punt anyway. But this is what they started with, empty backfield.
Duvall in motion from left to right. Jacoby throws looking for Duvall and overshoots him. And
actually, it was pretty good coverage that time by number 4 for the Squires, and Brady made a nice play there. Colin Geppert came up to take the short throw away, and Brady was behind it. And Hawks really have the tempo going here. They're right up to the line of scrimmage again. Makes for a long game with them throwing 50 times, though. But
5 wide receiver set for high snap over his head into the end zone. And that's a touchdown. Recovered in the end zone. Touchdown. Squires.
Jacoby went to get on it and slipped past it, and the Squires got on it. And I'm not sure who got that for the Squires. There was a bunch of them back there. Jacoby must have slid past it when he tried to get on it. A.J. Knobloch, we're being told, got that touchdown, Eric.
A.J. Knobloch, and that is the Squires' school record 7th defensive touchdown of the year.
Brings this game to 43-14, and the Hawks have been having a little bit of trouble with that snap all night long.
On the wet ball, certainly not helping that, and it's another extra point onto 6th Street.
44-14. I think Coach Zortman made the right call kicking off with the win.
Yeah. And I want to point out that the Squires, with their scoring production tonight, have become just the 11th team in school history to go over 400 points scored in a season, now at 426, which is the 7th best ever. And plenty of football to be played yet, looking for the school record of 459 scored by the 2002 team.
Wow, they got next week.
Yeah.
A lot of them teams back in those days played 11 games.
Yeah, I mean, every team above them played at least 12 games, and most 13 or 14.
There's another long kickoff.
Espinoza kick fielded by Manetos at the 3, and he slipped.
Falls at the 3-yard line. And that's just tough luck.
Yeah.
I mean, Hanover's been playing in some very tough luck here.
Yeah, I mean, Hanover played well in the first half and, tried to keep that rolling in the second half, and field conditions are just snowballing on them at this point.
And where are they moving this ball out to? Oh, they're bringing it outside. Okay. They're going to put it at the 4-yard line where he slipped and fell, and that's just, he would have been probably better off letting that go into the end zone. He called it about the 1, tried to make a move, and went down.
So 8:50 to go in the third quarter. Squires up now 44-14. Duvall in motion. High snap. Jacoby gives to the back. It's Destin Moore. He's got a couple.
I think you got him out 3 or 4 there.
Duvall goes in motion again. And it's going to be another handoff to Moore, and he is going to maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. Bring up third down at about 6. It looks like he is going to gain a yard.
3rd and 5. Let's call it 3rd and 5.
Okay.
It looks like they're halfway through there. Tommy Ryder's over there with the stick. Looks like 3rd and he's right in the middle. See what the Hawks do here in 3rd and 5.
Back to the 2 receivers each way with the 1 back. Jacoby looking to throw, rolls out, and is that batted down? Sweet get a hand on that, or
might have been a wet ball. It looked like he just tossed it into the sideline. It's going to be 4th down, and Hanover's going to have to punt again.
And it'll be Brett Knoll in his own end zone. Brown and Hernandez at the Hanover 40 or thereabouts. High snap, floater, and they're going to have contact with the kicker, but no call.
I think he was blocked into the kicker. That's why.
That ball will roll out of bounds at about the 43. So Squires have it 1st down and 10. And you're right. The seniors, when they take their lap, may have to get their rowboats out tonight. It's starting to fall heavier now. And we will stick with the broadcast so everyone can see the traditional senior lap here on senior night at JT Flaherty Field. Evan Brady under center for the Squires. And he gives it to Monto, who cuts it back, leaps a defender, and he's down to about the 35.
Give Monto about 8 again.
There's a good chance
Monto's going to
end up as the leading rusher for the Squires tonight. He's had a big night.
Getting chunks of 7 and 8 every time he touched the ball. Sure, Coach would like to take a little of his time off the clock here with a nice drive.
The problem is short field.
Yeah.
This time the give is to Brown, looking for the left end. He's got the left end at 1st down into the secondary and pushed out around the 25-yard line. 1st down and 10.
Yeah, the rain's really starting to come down now, and the field conditions really called Hanover here. It's a shame. I mean, they were playing such a spirited game, and a couple slips took them right out of it. Delone once again powers over here to the right side with both tight end and split end on one side.
Brady gives to Monto. He's got a short gain, maybe a yard.
They went back away from their power that time and went to the weak side of the field, and he only gets 2.
Third quarter, Upper Dauphin 22, Line Mountain 14. That will be next week's matchup. Squires against Upper Dauphin. Determining where is all that's left to decide. Brady hands to Colin Gebhardt, trying to keep his feet, doing a nice job. Spins out of tackle by Destin Moore, but gains maybe 2 on that play. Brings up 3rd down and 7 or so, maybe 6.
My guess is we're in 4-down territory here. We're not going to punt the ball.
Misdirection. Logan Brown on the counter. He is into the secondary. He's got a first down, and he's down to about the 11-yard line.
Nice job by the center, the tackle, Zach Groff, on a counter.
Not a lot of change on the out-of-town scoreboard at this point.
Squires have the ball right about the 12-yard line.
Under 6 to go in the third quarter. Brady gives to Hernandez. He's got the right side and in for the touchdown. The line judge slips and still signals the touchdown.
And don't look now, Eric. I think that's going to invoke the mercy rule here. And who would ever thought that at halftime that Delone was going to come out here and score the first 3 touchdowns here in the second half?
Not this guy.
And that's going to have the clock starting to run. The Squires are now up 36, looking to go up 37.
Espinoza, it's a low snap. Mowry, good job to hold it. High kick, and this time he kept it in the ballpark, but warning track power in this weather. So with 5:29 to go in the third quarter, it's Delone Catholic 51, Hanover 14.
Move ever so closer to the scoring records.
And that's 6 games over 50 now, which is double the previous record.
That might send some people to the exits here, too, because that rain's really starting to pelt now.
433 points on the season now for the Squires. Gets them up to 6th place. And 26 away from the record held by the 2002 team.
5:29 left here in the third quarter. The clock should run now.
Espinoza, low kick. Bounces over the head of the first man. Tipped to Manetos, I believe, and he is going to be stopped at the 25. First down and 10, Hanover. This is about as bad a weather game as I remember here in a long time, because normally if it's like this, you just don't play the game on that day and you pick another day. But
at the end of the year, for it to count, they had to play it today or tomorrow, and tomorrow is not going to be any.
No, tomorrow's going to be worse. So
not going to be any prize either. Hanover's still going to stay with their shotgun formation.
Ball's in the ground. Fumbled, and looks like the Nighthawks are on it.
Because it really don't matter if you run or throw right now, because the clock's going to keep running. Yeah. Unless it's lightning, they'll keep playing here, and I don't anticipate any lightning. Maybe snow.
Man in motion is Coant. The give is that Moore? He is out, still on his feet and close to the 30, about the 29 it looks like, and it'll bring up third down and about 6 for the Hawks.
Clock running, 4:15 left here in the third quarter. Delone finally, I think we can say, has this in hand with the clock going to keep running now.
That just never would have thought it would have turned this way. I mean, it was 28-14 coming out of halftime. Hanover got the ball, and then the weather conditions just took over and field position, and the Squires have made it go. And is that complete?
I believe it is complete, but it's not going to be a first down.
That's a nice catch. It looked like he juggled it with the wet ball. Jacoby complete out there. Be fourth down and about 4. Gabe Lee pushed the receiver out of bounds. The Hawks obviously looks like they're going to go for it here. Trying the hard count, looking to get the Squires to jump, but staying back. And it's going to be a run and nowhere to go for more. He's going to lose about 3, and it'll be a turnover on downs.
The Hawks are going to take, or the Squires are going to take over at about the 30-yard line. See who's in here for the Squires. Knobloch's going to go in for Hernandez. Number 40.
Josh Fulton. It looks like
Fulton's going to be at fullback.
Brady's still in. I would guess that the seniors maybe get another couple of plays here and bring them out a couple at a time for a send-off. It is senior night, last game of the regular season, but the Squires, for the first time in 4 seasons, will play beyond the regular season with the district semifinal next week. Brady gives to Fulton, breaks through the first line of the defense. There's an arm tackle, and he ended up getting about 3-4 yards on that play. 2nd down and 6. A little over 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Squires up 51-14 over the Nighthawks, but this game did not look like this at the beginning of this quarter. This time the handoff is to Knobloch. Somehow keeps his feet, cuts it outside, and he's down the sideline. He's going to be tripped up there by Braden
Great
Perry.
run by Knobloch into the 8-yard line.
Perry kept Knobloch out of the end zone.
They might move up a spot here.
They're going to move up a couple of spots here on the backs in the I formation now. The give is to Knobloch. He fumbles it and gets back on it at the 5.
It's obvious they want Knobloch to score a touchdown here, being a senior. Like I said, he's a jack of all trades this year. Did a lot on defense. Running clock, we're under a minute here in the third quarter.
That's the thing. This is a team that, as good as Brady and Brown have been, it's been kind of a team by committee.
Actually, Brown.
That ball's down again, but Fulton picks it up, and he's going to be in for the touchdown. Josh Fulton with the 5-yard touchdown off the fumble recovery.
And Brady wasn't the quarterback that time. Number 5 was in there. Mowry was in a quarterback. Ball got loose from him, and somehow Fulton picked it up and dove into the end zone.
The way it worked out, it almost looked designed, but there's no way. He kind of like rolled it back there, and Fulton just picked it up, and away he went. And it's still Espinoza out of Mowry's hold, and another good kick for Espinoza. And I don't know how he's doing it tonight with footing being what it must be. He's had a good night kicking the ball, and it's 58-14 with 42 seconds to go in the third quarter. And that now puts this Squires team in third place. They just passed 3 more teams on the season scoring list. 19 off the record. Been playing football in McSherrystown for a long time. To say that you've got the school record in anything is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Especially in 10 games.
Yeah.
Like everybody else you mentioned went to the playoffs or had a,
Yeah, 6 of the other 7 teams in the top of that list played at least 13 games. Espinoza, low line drive kick, splits the defense, and it's going to be another slip for Manetos, but that one gets into the end zone.
Hey, it was touched, but it doesn't really matter. It's a muff. If it goes into the end zone, it stops, it comes out. So I hope Espinoza's all right. He went for a little ride after he kicked that ball.
42 seconds to go in the third quarter, and it has been a 30-point quarter for the Squires.
And it's all because of the decision to kick with the wind, I think, because it's been the whole game. We haven't looked down this way since the first quarter. It's everything's been at this end of the field. And now it's getting nasty out there.
I didn't think of that until you said it, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, everything's been down there since the start of the second quarter.
Jacoby hands off to Moore. He picks up about 3 or 4 off left tackle.
That should be the end of the first. Or the
Tate
third
Niederer
quarter.
on the stop.
Hanover might get another play off. Looks like they're going to let that quarter end.
And that will be the end of the third quarter with the score Delone Catholic 58, Hanover 14.
And I know Delone scored 60 in this because I was one of the coaches there that time.
Well, let's dig it out here.
At this time, we would like to take a moment to thank and recognize Delone Castle's longtime athletic trainer, Mrs. Jen Sherdell.
We're doing a recognition for Jen Sherdell.
And tonight is her last night as our trainer. We would like to thank Jen for all of the hours, evenings, and weekends she has spent supporting our students and athletes. Jen, we thank you and may God bless you in your future endeavors.
And that's a well-deserved recognition of Jen Sherdell, who has taken care of thousands of student athletes over the last 15 years.
Yeah, it's my daughter's chosen profession also, and I know how much time they put in and how much they care about their athletes. And Jen's no exception. She's an exceptional lady.
And we've been lucky to have her for this long, and we wish her well. And is that a direct snap to somebody, or was that
the snap hit somebody and went down for a fumble, but Hanover got back on it.
So it's going to be 4th down?
Third.
3rd
and 6.
The Squires scored 60 in this series once, which is the record. That was in 2007.
Yes, 60-6 it was, or something like that.
Yes, it was. Jacoby hands to Moore. He's got nowhere to go. Squires defense does a good job to string that out. Brown and Tate Niederer on the stop.
It's probably a name we're going to be yelling here shortly because I'm sure that the Squire starters and offense are probably done.
Yeah, they might get sent out there to start the next possession and then maybe a timeout and bring them off. But I would guess the starters have seen their last for the night.
The Hawks are going to – and Jacoby's going to be the long snapper. Has he been the long snapper all night?
I don't know the answer to that.
That's the first time I saw him in there.
Brett Knoll to punt. Good snap. That's a pretty good punt, and it's going to be fielded by Logan Brown at about the 33. Looking for some room to run, and a nice open field tackle by number 11, Roger Romani Walker.
I think Coach Zortman was yelling, get down on that one. I don't think he wanted Brown.
And it looks like they're starting to get the second offense lined up over here. Coach Colby Zortman making that happen.
I think they run one and then they all come out and get the applause that they deserve.
The starters are in, and we're going to have timeout for the Squires. And Coach Zortman is bringing off his starters, many of them seniors, after a pretty impressive and incredible regular season. But the neat thing for this team is, after being so close last year, this class gets one more at minimum.
Yeah. No matter where it is, I mean, they go there.
Yep.
Even if they got to go to Upper Dolphin, you know what? They made the playoffs.
Yep. And what the heck? I don't think we've ever been to Elizabethville.
And Bill, Eric, and Tony will be there no matter where it is.
Yes, we will, thanks to the generosity of an anonymous donor who has taking care of the rights fees for us, and that brings us to another point. It unfortunately costs money to broadcast these games in the postseason. So should the Squires get to the championship, we're going to need help to bring that to you, but we want to do it. Kevin Mowry keeps, and he's still on his feet. The ball's out, and Hanover has it. First turnover for the Squires tonight with 10 minutes to go in the
second
fourth quarter.
turnover. We had a pick-off.
That's right. I told you it was inconsequential after he was tackled. But if anybody is able to help with the championship game, should the Squires get there, email me at elawrence@DeloneCatholic.org or call me 717-637-5969 extension 201. Anything that you could contribute to the effort to get that game on, we would appreciate it. That game will be $375 for the rights fee if the Squires should get there. Obviously, anything that is not used would be returned. The give to more, we'd like to keep this thing going as long as the Squires go. It's been a while since we've been
yeah, and by the way, when we say rights fees, we have to pay the district to do the game. Delone does not get any money. The announcers nobody gets any money. The football team, it goes to the district for the rights to broadcast the game, and we get actually a half fee. We don't have to pay the whole rights because we're associated with the school.
Right, a commercial station would pay double what we are. So, want to bring this to you if we can, and to give us to Moore again. And Logan Brown just stands him up and drops him, and Tate Niederer comes out of there with the ball.
They're going to keep it with Hanover, though.
So it's going to be third down and about 3. I mean, we've done some local road trips here in the last couple of years. We've been to New Oxford. We've been to Hanover a couple of times, but we haven't been on what you'd call a real road trip since the 2014 playoffs at Camp Hill.
This will double Camp Hill.
And Jacoby looking to throw. He's got time. Downfield. Man is
almost
nearly picked off by Gabe Lee.
Hanover wanted a penalty over there, holding, but they're not going to get it.
It was intended for Brian Ochoa Diaz, and Gabe Lee had a step beyond him and got a hand on it, but it's going to bring up fourth down for the Nighthawks. Under the running clock. 8:20 to go. Even on the incomplete pass, it doesn't stop. The only time it stops is scores and change of possession. Penalties, I guess. Jacoby looking to throw. And that's
a great crowd.
Caught by Manetos, and I don't know how he did it in this weather. I mean, that's a good catch on a dry field.
Great catch.
So first down, Hanover. Ball at the Delone Catholic 25. 7:50 to go. Somebody's getting a happy birthday down here in the band section. Oh, Sam Lowry, the drum major. It's her birthday. They're recognizing that, and that's a big stick out there on the left side. A.J. Knobloch with a big stick on Roger Romani Walker.
Clock scooting right along.
That's a lot of punishment to take for half a yard, Coach. Jacoby looking to throw. He's got a man in the flat and hits Marcello Malvone, the defender, in the back. Duval, the intended receiver. Out of town, it looks like York High is going to share the championship, or at least share the championship in Division I. It's 47-14 in the third quarter, while things are a lot more interesting, in the other game, as Red Lion is the lead down to 14-10 over Dallastown. If Red Lion wins, they would also share that championship. And the Squires are going to be whistled for offsides. Bermudian Springs up 33-7 over Biglerville in the third. Littlestown 40-0 over Fairfield, also in the third. Eastern York 42, Kennerdale 13. Gettysburg 50-0 over Greencastle Antrim. That is a final. York Catholic 48-0 over York Tech in the third. West York 43, Dover 14 at the half. And it's going to be a give on an end around to Sam Duvall, and he's got nowhere to go. No block, stretches it out. Malvone in on the tackle. Northeastern 43, New Oxford 14 in the third. Southwestern 21, Spring Grove 13 in the third. The Mustangs looking for their first win of the season. And still no update from York Suburban and Susquehannock.
Fourth down here for the Hawks and 5.
Upper Dauphin now up 30-14 over Line Mountain. So it's going to come down to what everybody else does at this point. Jacoby throws incomplete. Sam Duvall, the intended receiver, kind of threw his hands. Kevin Mowry got a hand in his face. I don't know if that made a difference, but turned over on downs with 5 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. And we've got an injured Nighthawk on the play. So we'll be with you next week. Airtime will be, well, to be determined. 6:30 or 6:45.
Hopefully 6:30 for.
Yeah, probably 6:30 for a playoff game. We'll be on the air.
Everybody can find us on the air here.
And then kickoff will be at 7 o'clock. It'll be against Upper Dauphin. Just not sure where. Not sure if it's going to involve a 3 o'clock departure time and gas money or not.
If it's here, we know we're going to be on the air at 6:30. Upper Dauphin, we get on the air when we get on the air.
But we'll be shooting for 6:30.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I know one thing: all roads don't lead there. You got to once you get up above Halifax, you're going to have to find it.
There's at least one because I've seen it on the map.
Very passionate about their football up there.
Well, and that's part of the fun. I mean, obviously, playing all your local rivals is great year in and year out. But playoffs being, I mean, first of all, they're the playoffs, and then getting to play some teams that maybe you don't play. Yeah. I don't think the Squires have ever played Upper Dauphin in football. Kevin Mowry in under center, the clock running under 5 minutes to go. The handoff is to Tate Niederer, and he's stretched out. He's going to lose a couple. About 3 Nighthawks in on the stop there. And a few dozen diehards out here in the stands yet. It's probably parents, grandparents, girlfriends, aunts, uncles, and
I hope Coach lets them do their lap right away instead of talking to them because they're going to be awful wet by the time they're done their lap. Mowry
hands off to Colin Gebhardt. He's corralled in the backfield. Number 58 is another one of those mystery men. I don't know who that is. He's not on the roster, but nice play by number 58 for the Nighthawks. Brings up third down and looks like 20 plus at the 10-yard line. And third down and 20.
Clock running right along here, 3:45 left. And Eric, we're not going to have to do a big follow up here tonight because
this was the tale of 2 games for sure.
Yes, yeah.
That's a give to Josh Fulton straight up the middle. He's got maybe 6 on that play, bringing up fourth down. And Gabe Lee will come out to punt it for the Squires. And it's going to be a timeout for Hanover.
I don't understand that, but I guess they want to set up a punt return here. They have 1 left. Delone used their timeout to get their second team on the field here a little bit ago.
Yep, get the starters the deserved ovation.
Maybe the ticker tape wires down between Susquehannock and whoever they're supposed to report these scores to. Because everything else looks like it's updated.
I'm not sure what happened there, but I know it wasn't legal. It's going to be a false start on the Squires. Squires coaches can't believe it. And it's going to back it up to the 11-yard line. Gabe Lee will be a yard deep in his own end zone. Good snap. Nice high punt. Hits the ground about the 40 and takes a great Delone Catholic roll. That thing rolled about 22 yards. It's going to be down at the Hanover 38 with 3:08 to go in the fourth quarter.
50-yard punt to the 39-yard line. That's where the Hawks will take over. 3:08 left here in the game. The recap of this game is the weather won the second half.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that we went on the side of the 50. We're on this side of the 50 now, but I'm not sure we've been on this side of the 50 other than Delone kicking off.
Yeah. New quarterback for Hanover is number 9, Brian Karst. And the ball is down, and it looks like the Squires have it.
See who they give it to.
Squires, nope.
They're going to leave it with the Hawks, I think, second down.
The black shirts were pretty convinced they had it, but they had me sold. 2:10 to go, second down and 10 for Hanover. 58-14 the score. Squires with the lead. And we'll invite you to stay right here with us for the traditional senior lap after this senior night game here at JT Flaherty Field. There's a chance these Squires might be back here next week, but last time they're guaranteed to play here at home. And this ball is fumbled, and it's going to be recovered by Karst. There's just no sense in this weather at this point.
Yeah, it's coming down pretty good. And although it looks, other than slippy, the field don't look that muddy.
No, it's held up well.
But you can see how much it rained. Look at the track down there. It's starting to puddle up pretty good there. So
Karst now in the shotgun, and he's going to give to Melendez. He's got maybe 4 back to the original line of scrimmage, and it'll be 4th down and 10 with about a minute to go.
I think if I'm Hanover, I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah. That would seem to make the most sense.
Delone will come out and take a knee if they...
Yeah. It's the least chance for disaster at this point with the conditions being as bad as they are. Karst to throw. The lefty.
There's nobody out
hit as he threw. It was intended for Josiah Schrader. Hit by Micah Ford as he threw it, and turnover on downs. 20 seconds to go, and they may not even get this ball set. And
the refs told them to keep the clock running.
So for the 86th time, these two teams have met, and the Squires, for the 3rd time in a row, are going to come away with the win. 58-14. The Squires now with a 52-29-5 lead all time in the series. And the Squires, again, for the 3rd year in a row, have improved their regular season record, and this time it comes with a playoff berth, as they will take on Upper Dauphin next week.
Somewhere.
Location to be determined.
Elizabethville is where Upper Dauphin's located, either there or here. Delone took care of their half of it tonight. It looks like Upper Dauphin's taking care of their half, so it's going to come down to a lot of different variables. Delone should, my guess is they hold on, but who knows with the way the power rating is. They beat a AAA school tonight. Upper Dauphin's beating a AA school, so Delone will get more points there originally, but something else has to happen. I would really love to see that suburban Susquehannock score.
37-14 Upper Dauphin over Line Mountain right now. Does it have a third quarter or fourth quarter now? So both of the teams taking care of business, and it's going to come down to what their opponents do at this point, and opponents, and all of that. But we are going to be with you on the air through the generosity of an anonymous donor. Again, want to remind everybody that there is a rights fee that we have to pay to District 3 to be able to broadcast a postseason game. And so we have an anonymous donor who is taking care of that for the semifinals. And just to start planning ahead, should the Squires win next week, we'll need help to get on the air for the championship. We'd love to ride this out with the Squires for this season, but we're going to need some help financially to do it. It'll be a $375 fee for the championship game should the Squires make it that far. And any help that anybody can give, we would appreciate. elawrence@DeloneCatholic.org if you would like to help or find out more details about that.
And like you said, we have to win this week for that to happen, but
Right.
we can't wait.
Right.
I mean, the thing about it is you don't have to do all 375. Any amount of money will help. We'd like to follow the Squires at least to the district championship, and if they win the district championship, then we'll worry about the states later.
Yeah.
And you can't do it. You can do every state game up until the championship game. Then
Right.
of course PCN has the rights to those games.
Yeah, and it would cost, I don't know, even at the school level, it would probably cost like $1,500 or $2,000
Well,
for the state championship
because
anyway.
they don't give you PCN bought those rights,
Right.
and they'll be on statewide TV then, which is all the other games aren't. So to make sure you see the Squires up till then. But the big thing is next week we're on somewhere, and stay tuned. I'm sure Delone Football or Delone Catholic School on Facebook or somewhere on social media will post what happened.
And now, after the coaches have had their say with the team, they're going to have the senior lap, which is a tradition that dates back to, I think Coach Frew told me, 1982. Taking the last lap around JT Flaherty Field here. There's a chance, obviously, that these guys will play back here next week, but you don't know.
Every year it becomes slower and slower. It's supposed to be a lap, but it's more like a crawl.
It's like one of those old crabbing down around the backstop. It's kind of the speed that this thing takes on at this point.
Yeah.
But I certainly understand that because, when you're a little kid and you're growing up here, it's something you look forward to doing, and then it's like you talked about earlier.
Yeah,
You're telling
it's
the
your
sophomores,
time. It's your time very quickly.
It blinks, and you blink, and it's gone.
What they're thinking about going around there is all those summer days they put in for practice, up there in the athletic field and sweating and coming down here and meeting the parents who provided lunch for them, and stuff like that. And just, here at Delone, you have to keep your grades up. You have to stay, in good graces here if you want to play. So it's just not the athletics, So actually they're moving a pretty good clip there.
I can't imagine how cold they are at this point.
Yeah, it's got to be cold because it's still raining pretty good out there.
Well, and the other things to think of, it's, some of these guys have been playing in the black and gold since they were in 7th grade. So you're thinking about Coach Jimmy making you do more push-ups than you can possibly imagine with a smile on his face doing it at the 7th and 8th grade level. And, this team, as we talked about, has so much to hang their hats on. I mean, they started out
7-3, 8-2, and 9-1 the last 3 years of their regular season. And when I coached at Delone in 2007, we had a 7-3 regular season record. Ended up winning districts. We got to go to the districts where they did in the last 2 years with great seasons they had. They had to sit at home the 11th week.
They missed an undefeated regular season by 4 points last year and didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the other thing that this senior class has is they came in at the same time as Coach Zortman. This is his 4th season. So
just think, Eric, if they'd only kept 2 in district, we'd be playing tonight not knowing if they're going to the districts next year.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, I mean, this is a team that this class, they got better every year. And they're getting the ultimate reward for it next year or next week, getting to play extra football.
Yep. Well, they're almost done now. They're at the 50-yard line, 3/4 of the way around. The rest of the team waits at the shack in a sort of a tunnel for them to go in.
And I've never seen a team or a class do this before with the arms linked, everybody going together.
And Shipley right there in the middle, which is really heartbreaking. I mean, that kid is such a big part of this team, and he has to sit out at least next week yet. We don't know what happens if he gets to the championship game. It don't look good for that either, to tell you the truth. But, I mean, just think how he feels, you know. They finally get to go to the playoffs. He's been a 3-year starter. Now they break into – they're probably getting wet. And there they go.
Yep. And, you know, there's a chance if things don't play out the right way, they may not play on this field again.
Yeah.
So,
Eric, it's been a pleasure again tonight.
It sure has, Coach.
Bill, thanks a lot for setting things up.
Appreciate
Chris
Bill,
on the camera
yeah,
tonight.
Bill Smith doing all the technical for us, and Chris Stroop coming out of retirement tonight to run the other camera. We're trying to get the good camera back up and running and get Zoom and all that. But it's been a lot of fun here for the regular season. We'll be with you at least one more time, and we'll have details on how you can watch that game next week, where it is, what time, as we know. And it's been a good night, and now if we can all make it home without drowning, we're going to go ahead and do it. It's for the 86th time, the Nighthawks and the Squires. The Squires come out on top of this one, 58-14 for Chris Stroop, Bill Smith, Tony Weaver. I'm Eric Lawrence. Thanks for joining us tonight, and have a great weekend. We'll see you next weekend for the district playoffs. Have a good one.